We're going to be speaking with somebody from Australia who has uncovered some Scientology shenanigans, and we are going to talk all about it. Welcome. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology Life After a Cult. Thank you, everybody, for being here, including the members who support the channel, everybody in the live chat. And thank you so much to the moderators for helping out today. I have been wanting to talk to this woman for quite some time. Some of you may be familiar with her channel. It's Perth Scientology Audit. I'll get that pulled up shortly. She's going to join us and share what she's been finding out about Scientology in Australia and how she came to be somebody who live streams and protests Scientology. So first of all, let's take care of a little business here. Let's see. We are all good to go. So everybody, please welcome T, who is from her channel is Perth Scientology Audit. Welcome.
Hey. Hello, everyone. How are you?
Good. Great to have you here. I'm going to get your channel pulled up so we can flash it as well. And so you're joining us from Australia. It's in the morning on Wednesday here. What time is it there?
It's 12:35 on Thursday, so after midnight, yeah. So wow. I went to bed for a few hours, and then I got up and slapped my face on to be with you. And I'm so honored to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm so thrilled that you joined and that we were able to work out the timing because kind of to your point, it is not easy when there's such a big time difference. And I've wanted so much to chat with you since you started your channel. And here's her channel, Perth Scientology Audit. I've got a link below as well in the description of this video. You can head over there and subscribe. You can see some of her earlier content and all of the goodness that is there. And first, I have to know, tell everybody, how did you get started live streaming and protesting Scientology?
Oh gosh, so I read Jenna's book when it first came out, and I was just so many emotions, like angry, I cried. It just really hit me, and it stayed with me for years. I went off and did things, and worked in the middle of nowhere in the Australian outback, and had a kid and stuff like that. And then I actually suffer from a lot of trauma myself. I have CPTSD. I'm hoping to get the shots at the end of next month. And I just wanted to, I don't know, I've been isolating myself for the last 3 years with this trauma. And I just kind of found Aaron, as most people, that's how most people start, I guess. And I just, I could just resonate with so many of people's stories and their childhoods and things like that. And I just felt like I needed to do something. And I just couldn't believe, the more you dig into it, the more you find, and it just blows me away what they're getting away with. And I found out there's one in my city, an org, and I went down to check it out. I went down there undercover as a different character.
Yeah, tell us what happened.
So first of all, the first time I ever went there, I went there with my friend Linda. We were filming, and they told us we couldn't film, and they said we could book an appointment for a tour and go and have a look around. But I didn't really want to do that. Anyway, so an event came up, and it was a drug-free world event, and it was a family-friendly event, and they had the bouncy castle and food and everything like that. And I thought, we said, we're going to go down and protest because we just didn't like the way that they were targeting children,
Yeah.
So she went down there with another friend, and then I went down there, but I actually I curled my hair, did my makeup differently, and I put on a Scottish accent. And I went in there and I filmed undercover. I haven't put it up because I don't want to get into trouble. But yeah, I went in there and I was made up a whole story on the spot. I don't know how I did it and how I got away with it, because I even sat down with the lady that had seen me on the door before. She didn't recognize me. So maybe I should be an actress. I don't know. But yeah, I sat there with her for like a good sort of 10-15 minutes talking about Narconon and all of this stuff, and getting all this info, because I wanted to go and film in Narconon in Perth. And when I put it in Google Maps, it came up with a Narconon, and I went there, but it was a gym. It wasn't a Narconon. And I couldn't find any evidence of it ever being an Narconon. So I was like, well, I'm going to go and ask these people in the church. And they were saying, oh, yeah, it used to be there. And they didn't have a clue what was actually going on with the Narconon situation in Australia, which is they're all banned. They've all been shut down. So,
So
yeah.
that is why. And for those that don't know, Narconon is a front group for Scientology, where they claim to be a drug rehabilitation center. And that's where you see those truth about drugs booklets that they hand out, that they try to get into schools, but really it's a front for Scientology.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what they told me when I was in there, that they're trying to get them into the schools, but it's not going to happen. They're pretty clued up in Australia. Yeah, they've been going around outback towns and going to the police stations, but then people are complaining, calling up the police and getting them taken out again. So
that is fantastic. Yeah. What would you say the general consensus is in Australia when it comes to Scientology? I'm always curious about that, because I know more what it's like here in the United States. But in Australia, when you speak to, because I'm sure you've let your friends know, hey, this is what I'm doing. I've got this YouTube channel now.
Oh, they all think I'm crazy.
Well, I think you have to be on YouTube.
Well, that's it. Like I was saying, I've been isolating for the last 3 years, and had become like so withdrawn into myself with this depression and stuff. And I just sort of started like lurking in YouTube maybe around December last year, and started putting videos up, and then did this sort of, the filming at the org, did another couple of little protests, and didn't show my face. But the more I've done it, and the more I've sort of got to know people in the community and how just absolutely beautiful they are, so caring, so compassionate, and just so, I feel like I understand their stories and I can relate, and so I've gradually been going on more and more. I think I went on with Poe on the Go first, and I hate watching that first video because I'm so cringy. But yeah, I've built up my own little channel, and been doing all sorts of stuff, investigating. I went undercover in London org. I went in Narconon in the UK. I went to the Sea Org birthing near St Hill. I've done loads of stuff. So yeah. It's
what are some of the things that stood out to you? Did anything surprise you with any of these interactions with Scientologists or Sea Org members?
I think just when you've read the books and you've seen the documentaries and stuff, but like when you actually go inside an org, it makes it all so real, and you're like, this isn't a joke, this is serious. This is actually going on, and people actually believe this, and it's really, really shocking, and I found it just so sad, and I don't know. I actually, when I was in the London org, I actually put some literature, I hid it in the toilet. So when there was a cleaning machine in the toilet, I went back in to asked if I could use the toilet, and I put like a little SPTV thing saying, if you need help. I hid it in this little machine, this cleaning machine in the toilet. Just stuff like that. I don't know. It brings it very real.
This is not as important to the story, but when you say cleaning machine, is it a cleaning machine on the toilet?
No, not a toilet cleaning machine. No, like a wet vac kind of thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. I'm like, what do they have in Australia? Because I love a good toilet.
This is in London.
London.
That was in London, yeah. Because I go back to the UK every year to visit my family. They're all over there. So yeah, I feel like I'm telling 3 different stories at once. Sorry, I have ADHD, so I go off on a tangent. It's like squirrel.
I like a good tangent, but you're there in London. You leave these SPTV cards out where they can see them. That you leave it in the org. Was there anything that struck you as, because you've now seen Scientologists in the wild in London and you've experienced them in Australia? Is there anything that stands out to you or that you were surprised by once you actually started getting out there?
Well, in London it was the only time I've ever seen a Sea Org person. They don't have any in the Perth org. There's like 50 members there. I found out it's a family-run org, and Perth is actually one of the most isolated cities in the world. The nearest city to me is Singapore. So
Whoa, I did
yeah,
not know that.
yeah. So it's I think they kind of can just kind of almost do their own thing, you know, with it all being a family org as well. Like
Mhm.
there's the dad and the two daughters and the son. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, there's only one clear person there, and there's
Wow.
two auditors, I think.
And they're
That's
working hard on trying to get the front group for the Foundation for a Drug-Free World out into the
yeah,
public. That seems to be in Perth, how they're attempting to gain
yes,
acceptance for Scientology
yeah,
is through that. And what I love, and I remember one of the first videos I saw with you was when you were out there with someone else protesting and explaining to them how you could do what you were doing on the sidewalk. And they were just
yeah.
so convinced that you were in the wrong and they could get rid of you, and they found out pretty quick that that's not true.
Yeah, that was actually Linda who was out talking to the lady and talking about how her friend got declared.
Mhm.
That was Linda. While that was going on with Linda, I was inside. I was inside undercover as Sheena with a Scottish accent on.
Sheena with a Scottish accent. I love it.
Yeah, it's actually my evil stepmom. I base it base her off my evil stepmom. So
You just
she
channeled the
may or
stepmom.
may not be getting Scientology mail. No, she's moved house now anyway. It's all good.
Mhm. So you're doing
Yeah.
this and you've been, you visited multiple Scientology orgs there and live streaming, but you also had an interesting interview and conversation with someone, was it in South Africa, who you found out was about to be used by Scientology to set up one of their front groups. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so I often go browsing through Facebook and I join Scientology groups and stuff. And I saw a man in Ghana. Is that the one you were talking about?
Yes.
The guy in Ghana, yeah.
Yeah.
So I comment on posts. Most of the time they just delete it or tell me to get lost. But this guy, he put up a post talking about how he'd been approved to put a applied scholastics center on his land.
Mhm.
So, yeah, commented on it going, "Oh, if you want more info, please message me, but they're not what they seem, and they're dangerous and blah, blah, blah." So, and I just didn't think anything of it. And the next day he actually messaged me and he was really concerned. And he said, "Please tell me more. I'm really worried, you know." And so I wrote paragraphs and paragraphs. I spoke to him on the phone. We were talking every day, and he's pulled out. They're no longer building on his land. He'd also done the plans up for a church there in Ghana as well, and he's pulled out of it all. We've kind of like it's kind of fizzled out the communication, but I am going to because I've got stuck into another project. Uh, yeah, so I am going to have him on my channel hopefully at some point. But
Mhm.
yeah, I just thought that was huge, because they do seem to be targeting a lot of African countries. I found activity going on in 20 different countries. And at the
Wow.
moment, yeah, it's a lot. And at the moment, I'm actually in live time investigating with another lady called Journey. The Journey 2020 is another channel,
Mhm.
and we both started investigating this scam in Uganda for the last couple of months, and I found significant evidence. And we've actually gone to the FBI about it. So
Wow.
if anyone wants to see that, it's on my channel. There's videos about that.
And when you
Which
say evidence, finding evidence of what specifically?
she's used other people's photos. I've actually got a guy who was working as a VM for her, and he quit, or she. There was a dispute. He
Mhm.
quit, and I've been speaking to him, and he told me about all the stuff, like the fake stuff that's going on. Like she's taking pictures of African kids and claiming that they're orphans, and they're not. They're actually children in a private school there. She's conned a lot of money out of people, thousands and thousands of dollars out of other Scientologists, you know? So
And she's
I've
a
been doing,
Scientologist.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
she's scamming other Scientologists to get them, what is the scam? Is it to donate to this front group?
Oh, one of them has apparently built an orphanage that cost 25 grand, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's paying the VMs to take photos and put you know, the yellow t-shirts on the kids and stage them and do videos, and saying that people are sending donations for seeds to plant crops. But the guy, so the main VM who's behind the scenes, he actually owns a farm and a school, and he's taking pictures of these kids like pretending that they're planting seeds and stuff and saying, you know, but it's not, it's just people in his farm. And
So do
yeah.
you think then that Scientology is taking these images and using it as propaganda with their members to try
It's on
and
their
gain?
website. They've done a story about it on their website, on the Scientology website. Yeah.
Wow. But you know for a fact, because there you are in real time in communication with this guy, and he's
Hmm.
letting you know what's happening. So he seemed like
Yeah.
he might have been unaware of what was going on, would you say?
Well, he's no longer with them. He was there over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. But he knows it's still going on. He knows the people that are involved over there. She's never even been to Uganda, you
Mhm.
know. Um, and yeah, sorry, what was the question again? He's a
Just like, so he basically, Scientology is taking these images that he was creating, making it look like, do you think they were directing him? Like, okay, have the kids make
Oh
it look
yeah.
like they're
Oh yeah. That's
planting.
right. Yeah. He got recruited online, and then told that they wanted him to. They actually offered him to pay him to work there for a year and teach
Mhm,
English to the children at the school. And so he got picked up and taken out to this village in the middle of nowhere. He had no money, he had nothing. And then when he got there, he said it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. He said that this guy just wanted me to help with all these staged photographs and stuff. He did teach the kids English. He was there for 6 weeks, and then they never paid him. And he was he was studying law, and he wanted to finish his law degree, and they agreed to pay for that, and they
mhm.
never paid him. So I found him because he commented on this lady's post that had ripped him off, you know, and a lot of the comments were getting deleted. But I found one, and I messaged him, and I said, like, what's going on? Can I help? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still going on. So
Wow. So
we'll
they
see
were
what happens.
actually conning him, using this guy in
Yeah,
Ghana to pretend to take these photos to then
Uganda,
have
yeah.
them be used as Scientology propaganda. Do you by chance know where on their website that is? I should have pulled it up.
Oh, blimey. Um,
I can put it in
I
the
don't even know
description
how.
later as well. So when we're done, we'll look
Yeah,
it up and then I'll put a
yeah,
link to it
yeah, yeah.
in the
Absolutely,
description.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe we shouldn't be talking about it so much because it might get back to the person, and then they'll shut everything down, you know. But yeah, well, whatever. It's too late now. We've gone to the FBI, so we've
Yeah.
got all the evidence on our computers. So
And
it's just
what was his response to all of this?
what when the guy who
Yeah, and
I'm
finding out and
sorry?
realizing when you filled him in and was like, "Hey, here's what this is. This is Scientology, and here's what they're actually doing."
Yeah, he didn't really know a lot about Scientology, you know. But he just knew that it was all a scam, and it was all a scam for money. I don't think he
Mhm,
was really interested in the whole. They didn't try to sort of recruit him to Scientology as much as they did with the guy in Ghana. The guy in Ghana, that was another thing I missed out. So there's Ghana and Uganda. That's the two places that I focused on. The guy in Ghana, they actually tried to recruit him to the Sea Org. So they
wow.
got him online as well, through the Way to Happiness. He has his own. He works for this charity that he does amazing work, helping child brides, human trafficking, FMG, stuff like that in Africa. He does some really amazing work, and he found the Way to Happiness online, offering free booklets and everything. And he was like, "Oh, you know, that looks like a good program or whatever." Gets them sent, and he got T-shirts and hats and everything.
Mhm,
And then he ended up doing 19 free courses online. And then they connected him with loads of different people in Africa. And they started talking to him about going clear, and they wanted him to go down to Johannesburg and join the Sea Org. Yeah. So they play the long game, as we all know, but they are slowly trying to get people online, I believe.
mhm.
And luckily, because he was going to go and do it, you know, luckily his visa didn't get approved. So he
Wow.
had a lucky escape. Yeah.
So his visa
Yeah.
doesn't get approved, so he's not able to go, and then fortunately, he ends up connecting with you. And then
Yes.
you're able to fill him in on the cult of
Yes.
Scientology and
Yeah.
all of
He
that.
was
And hopefully,
shocked.
I
Yeah.
bet my
Yeah.
hope is that he then forwards that and lets other people know as well. Is there anyone else, do you know that he worked with? Like what was his reaction to all of this? Just shocked?
He was shocked when I told him about the human trafficking, and I said, "Look, I believe they're trying to take Africans as slaves, and they're preying on vulnerable people and stuff like that." And he's just like, "Thank you so much for telling me. Like, thank you so much." And I said, please, if you can, spread the word to everyone you know. Like, don't let anyone else fall into their trap.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and the guy in Uganda, he doesn't really know a lot, and he's not going anywhere near it. So, but I am actually I'm designing leaflets and stuff that I might send over to them and try and get them to even, I don't know. I mean, it's such a huge country,
Yeah.
but even somehow just try and get the word out.
Yeah.
But it's so vast. It takes 12 hours to fly across Africa. It's gigantic. They make it smaller on the world map.
Hmm.
So it's a never-ending task of trying
Yeah.
to get the word out to Africans, and yeah, but I'm doing that. I've got so many projects on the go, Natalie. It's crazy.
Yes, and I love how you really jumped in and you utilized the power of social media by just looking. When you go on some of those Scientology groups and Scientology sites on social media, and like you did, get into the comments because they sometimes they're really slow to delete comments that expose them. But that is a
Yeah,
great way of connecting with people all over the world who might not know, like that guy who he just didn't know. I mean,
yeah,
that is like life changing to think of what could have happened to him had
I
he
know,
joined the Sea Organization,
I
and
know.
they would have taken his passport. He wouldn't have been able to leave. He would have been stuck there. It would have been a whole thing. It's seriously impactful, like right off the gate. It's like you managed to help this man avoid potentially a
Yeah,
lifetime in Scientology and worse, in the Sea
yeah,
Organization itself.
yeah. And I am a bit worried because he hasn't been in touch as much lately. And I understand, I've been told by quite a few people that even being in the Sea Org with the conditions that they're in can be better for some people than the conditions they're living in Africa. So it would be very tempting, but I don't think they realize that your freedom can be completely taken away from you,
Yeah.
and disconnected from your families and stuff. But they're thinking, oh, room and board, and they're saving the planet. So um, yeah, I will be chasing him up tomorrow after work to just check in and see if he's okay. I did message him last weekend and he didn't message back, and he normally does. So I need to keep
Is this
keep
okay?
checking on him. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because he's a
Wow.
lovely guy.
Yeah. Definitely. I
Yeah,
didn't know either that Singapore is the closest place to Perth. I mean, I
the
think that
closest
the
big
closest
city. Yeah,
city. Yeah.
yeah.
But you went and also did a protest in Melbourne. I keep being told that's how you say it.
Melbourne. Yeah, Melbourne.
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 Melbourne. So
Bun,
the
like a
N is
bun. How do you say bun? Like a
fun.
bread, like a bun? Yeah,
Bun.
Melbourne. Oh, no, maybe
Melbourne.
not. Melbourne. I don't know.
Melbourne. Is it like bin, like bin, like a bin?
No. Oh,
Melbourne?
it depends.
Melbourne. I think
I
it's
think
because there's an accent involved in it too, so I'm not sure.
yeah, Melbourne.
The Journey 2020 is saying bun. Melbourne.
Yeah, Melbourne. Yeah.
Melbourne. Mad Drop Bear. Melbourne. Melbourne, mate. Melbourne. Okay, we will
Melbourne,
go
mate.
with Melbourne.
Yeah.
So tell me what that was like when you went and
Oh,
you were with Miriam Francis and Ree was there and others and you were protesting in Melbourne.
oh, it was phenomenal. I loved it. Because Perth is so quiet. I went live at Perth Org, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and it's just there's nothing going on there.
Mhm.
So I just thought, I want to make more of an impact. I want to be my tagline is a voice down under. I think it
Oh,
was Windy City Dayton Watch that said it to me. He goes, "Well, you're the voice in Australia," and I was like, "Shit, I think I am actually."
yeah.
um, so I thought, well, okay, I can try and do that. Yeah, and I got in touch with Ree, who I'd known a few months before, and she she hadn't been around, and I got in touch and I said, look, mate, I want to go and protest in Melbourne. I thought I was going to be going by myself. Do you fancy coming along? You know? And then I ended up talking to Miriam. I messaged her about something else, and I mentioned it to her, and she went, oh my God, I would be up for that, you know? And I was like, you know, I wasn't sure if she'd want to, because it'd be quite confronting, or maybe would triggering for her or whatever. But no, she was well up for it. And then I was like, well, I've got these two. This is going to be brilliant. And I just started sort of basically advertising, trying to recruit, getting more people to join the movement, and got 15 people in a matter of like, I think it was like a month or something, you know, which is it doesn't sound like a lot, but it was the biggest protest in Australia for 16 years, you know, since the anonymous times. 13 of us showed up, and we all stayed, a lot of us stayed in a hotel the night before, and just meeting Miriam and all these other beautiful souls, it was like we instantly connected. None of us had to explain ourselves to each other. We just all got each other, and it was just such a beautiful bond. And we speak almost every day since. We're planning another one in Sydney for Lisa McPherson's, you know, the anniversary of her passing. We're going to do a vigil out there. Yeah, and it was a fantastic day. Miriam she just radiates such beautiful energy, you know. I miss her, you know. I've met her, I was there for 24 hours, and I've missed her ever since, you know. I feel like I didn't get enough time with her. So yeah, we've kept in touch and everything, and we're planning to do one in Sydney. Yeah, and it was a fantastic day. We had such a good response. We had loads of people beeping, you know. We had the sign that says honk if you think it's a cult. So many people were beeping. The trams, because it's opposite a tram depot, all the trams were going ding-a-ling-a-ling with their bells at the sign. The police got called. And then, you know, I think Miriam questioned the policeman. He said, you know, what do you think about children being locked in rooms and interrogated? And he was like, you know, I have to be politically correct. I can't say anything and all this. But then as the police drove off, they beeped their horn.
Support.
No, I'm with you, mate. So yeah, it was brilliant, you know, because the Australian police here, the police in Perth don't really give a crap. They're just like, oh, whatever. They roll their eyes about it, and they don't know anything about it. Because I challenged one of the policemen and I said, you know, do you know anything about Scientology? And he went, no. And I went, do you not think you should know? And he's like, mate, I've got enough stuff on my plate, you know. And I'm just like, okay, you know, he just does his job and goes home. He's not interested in all the crap that goes with it. But yeah, Melbourne was amazing. We were there for 5 hours. And it was just a fantastic energy, loads of colors, and we had the list and everything, loads of signs. We'd spent the night before, we were up till like midnight, all in Miriam's room making signs together, and it was just awesome. It was so nice. Yeah,
I love that you found such community to come from a place where you were sharing, where you were really isolating yourself, and now you're just out there, and you're really putting yourself out there, and you're making these new friends, and you're creating an amazing impact as well. Nisa has a question. Does Scientology have tax exempt status in Australia?
I always get asked this question, and I don't like to answer it incorrectly. Yes. Yeah, they do. But they're kind of I don't want to say any more on it in case I get it wrong, but yeah, they have tax exemption, but in a different kind of way, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
They're recognized as a religion. So
got it. Sin JT says the footage T recorded in the London org was sobering for sure. And I'd heard that a few times from people, because you really see how, you know, the staff member, what they really believe, and kind of what the pitch is.
Trying to find my ruin. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to find your ruin, trying to find a way to hook you in. And David Bruce says, 2 of my kids have voiced disgust with cult of Scientology with no influence from me. This work that you all are doing is effective. It is spreading like wildfire. And I would agree to that. I feel that what happened with the most recent protest movement, which started last year with Scientology Audit Streets LA, and the way that took off across the country and then across the world. And then you add to that everything coming out now with Scientologists like Emily Armstrong, with Lincoln Park, and the crisis that Scientology is having from a public relations perspective, because people from different areas and communities are finding out. The Lincoln Park music community, the Bravo community, because of Rebecca Minkoff being on The Real Housewives, all of these ways where it is just coming out. And I think it's a beautiful thing to have people in these different areas where they might want to participate in protesting Scientology or live streaming outside there, and they have a place where they can go, where Australia is a big place, but I love that you're all coming together and they can find
Yeah.
you. Hold on. Let's click on this here.
So
There we go.
I've got 2 blooming things for the live.
You've got what?
2 things for the live with the different links and stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, this is your page there, Perth Scientology Audit.
Yeah.
Want to make sure we pull it up a couple of times so people know where to find you, so they can continue to be on top
Thank
of
you.
all the good work and things that you guys are doing out there. Let's see.
I apologize to anyone in my chat that I'm not looking at it because I don't want to get distracted. I get distracted very easily, but I will read through the chat later. I did that with my live earlier. Did I go on earlier? Yeah. All the day. I don't even know what day I'm on at the moment, but yeah.
I know, because it's late for you.
Yeah. I'll probably start fading in a minute.
I'll just grab a couple more questions.
It's all good. It's okay. I want to get the word out. Yeah.
Yeah. Suppressive Squirrel.
Yes.
The cons being conned by the cons. How quaint.
How quaint. Yeah.
Suppressive Squirrel also asked, if they are recruiting Africans, do they even have any money for all the audits, Purif, Going Clear, etc.? I would think they're mainly being recruited to join the Sea organization, not so much to come and pay as Scientologists. What are your thoughts on that?
I think mainly they're recruiting them to the VMs because
Volunteer ministers.
Just for PR. You know, they're making a lot of money out of donations, and you know, all these photos are like it's to get money, you know. So they've got quite a few volunteer ministers that are willing to, they're aware of it, they're willing to lie, they're willing to stage photos, you know. It's big money for them as well. So some of the people in these African countries are happy to do it, you know.
Yeah, Joe says, we love what you do, T.
Thanks, Joe, and thanks for being here.
And
He's a great supporter.
Voctor says, Australia gave us AC/DC. I didn't know that. I didn't know AC/DC was from Australia.
Hell yeah.
I did not know that. I did not know that at all.
And Glasgow, where I'm from. Yeah.
Let's see. Kathy says, T, the work you do is amazing and so important. This old lady has much respect for you.
Thanks, Kathy. You know, I just really want to keep getting the word out, especially in Australia. I mean, a lot of people where I've spoken on forums and stuff, you know, they're like, oh, there's only 1,600 members in Australia. And it's like, but those people matter. Every person matters, you know. So for me, it's not about numbers. It's not even just about Australia itself. It's about making a noise down under. It has a ripple effect to the rest of the world. It's more spotlight on the abuses that are going on, you know. That's what I want to achieve. And
you're doing it,
joining, and you know.
And you're doing it, you're bringing awareness. I mean, you've already cracked some cases. I mean, exposing what happened with in Ghana, and it was Uganda, right?
Ghana was the one with the guy with the land and the applied scholastics, and then Uganda is the whole big scam thing going on. Yeah. We're going to do an update on that soon, me and Journey.
Good. Yeah. Good. That is awesome. I really appreciate everything that you're doing and your friends there in Australia. And I'm so happy that you got to connect with Miriam and you have this community. And I hope you recognize what an impact what you're doing is having, and how much people like myself who grew up in Scientology or are ex-Scientologists appreciate that you're taking up this cause and taking action and making change, because that is what it's going to take. There just aren't enough ex-Scientologists to bring down Scientology. We need the help of everybody else. Never
ends. Rise up. Come on, guys. Let's get the word out there and take these bloody buggers down, you know?
That's right. Never in Scientology, but all in on ending the cult. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Keep me posted when things are coming up, and we'll do what we can to help get the word out about that as well when you have other protests, when you're able to talk about. I know you have a lot of things coming up. Some of them you cannot talk about just yet, but the things that you can, let me know, and we'll try to highlight them as well.
Yeah, I'll also be going. So I've started a GoFundMe to get the shots done. I'm booked in for the 24th and 25th of October. I think I'm going to the same place that Miriam got hers done. I have to
Okay.
fly to Melbourne. They don't have it in Perth. So when I go over and get that done, I'm going to have to squeeze in a protest.
Back at Melbourne. Melbourne.
Yeah, Melbourne. Yeah, definitely. So I'll be there at the end of next month for
Yeah,
another
that's
protest, but it
fantastic.
won't be as big. It won't be as massive. I think Ree and another lady are going to like a market or an expo this weekend because they're having a Dianetics stall there. They're also
Okay.
having a Dianetic. They normally have every year at the Perth Royal Show. They have the
Mhm.
Dianetics Foundation. They have a stall there as well. So I'll hopefully go down there and get involved with that and maybe stand next to them with an appropriate T-shirt on, maybe like it's a cult and an arrow pointing to their stall.
I love
Someone
that.
comes along and tells me off, I can just shut my jacket.
I love that.
Or
Suppressive
I could
Squirrel
just
says,
or I could wear this one.
definitely OSA.
I don't know. I've got loads of shirts. I make my own shirts so I can put whatever I want.
I love that. Suppressive Squirrel says, love T, wish her well, and sub to her channel, which again is right
Thank
here,
you. That would be
Perth
amazing.
Scientology Audit. Well, I'm
Yeah.
so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for coming on. I hope people go over and subscribe. And I know that we
Thank
will be
you.
chatting again because there is a lot going on that you have coming up. And I can't wait
Yeah.
till you're able to share it with us.
And I've got through it with Davey's tears. They're absolutely delicious. Delicious.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for jumping on and join. And then everybody head over to Perth
Thanks for having me.
Scientology Audit. Yes, check her out. Give her a subscribe so you stay up to date because after all, she is the voice from down under.
Along with all my new friends as well, they're doing amazing work with me. So yeah, I don't want to take all the credit. I'm like,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I love it.
it's fun and it's very, very important as well. And we are planning to. Our goal is to pick up where Nick Xenophon left off.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what we're aiming for. We've got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Yeah, so sub up, give us a like, and if my email is always open, perthaudit@gmail.com. If you want to get involved, if you want to help out, if you've got any info, please contact me. I will get back to you as soon as I can. I'm quite active.
Mhm.
So yeah, I really appreciate it, everyone. And I'm so happy that you've had me on, Natalie, to help me get the word out there.
Absolutely. I'm glad we were finally able to work out the time difference, and I
Yeah,
appreciate you staying up so late, waking up to have to do this. Truly appreciate it, and I think it's fun to be able to hear from you that way. So thank you
I've got
for
to get up in 4 hours for work. I don't know how I'm
being
going to do it. I might be late.
yeah, we need to let you get back to sleep, but thank you
I
for
don't think
being
I'll be able
here.
to. I'm excited.
And everybody out there, I hope you all have an amazing cult-free day.
Bye.